What's up, everybody? Curtis Wilkerson here with Inside Arkansas and the Pod at the Palace, coming back to you again today with another episode of our Hoop Hogs Video Mailbag, where you ask me a question that's Arkansas basketball related, and I do my best to answer it. And we've been having a lot of fun with these. We post one every day, but I got to admit, today's has probably been the most thought-provoking that I've had so far. And quite honestly, I've gone back and forth on it a ton. So shout out to Cole for really hitting me with a mind bender here. He says, which duo has a bigger impact next season, DJ Wagner and Karter Knox, or Boogie Fland and Adou Thiero? Man, that's really tough. Arkansas's got 9 guys in the projected rotation here, and I feel like you could have done 300 different combinations, and this would have been easier for me. But the way that you set these up, it's been tough. It really has. And right away, I'll be honest with you, I was leaning DJ Wagner and Karter Knox. And the reason being is because I've been so bullish on both of those guys, maybe when others haven't been quite as high on them. So I want to take the cop out here and say, I think that they're both going to be really good players for Arkansas. DJ Wagner, I think he was unfairly ridiculed at times for his freshman season at Kentucky. He was a McDonald's All-American, used to be the #1 rated player in his high school class. People thought he'd be one of Cal's next one and dones, and it just didn't work out for him. He fell below expectations from that standpoint for sure, but he still averaged 10 points per game and almost 3.5 assists per game as a true freshman in the SEC. That is not easy to do, and a lot of times players make their biggest leap from their freshman to sophomore years. Some folks think that DJ Wagner just kind of is what he is at this stage. I don't buy into that. I think that there's another gear he can kick it into, and hopefully he does it for Arkansas this season. And Karter Knox is the one that I've been probably the most bullish on because I've said I could see him being a potential lottery pick for Arkansas. Could see him being maybe an all-SEC, an SEC all-freshman caliber player, just because I look at his frame at 6'6", 225, and I think, okay, this dude is ready physically. I like that he's a shot creator and an offense creator right away out of the gates. There's just a lot to like about his game. And his brother, Kevin, was already a lottery pick under Cal in the past. So he's coming in with kind of the expectation and just a prime example of what happens if you really buy in and pick up what Cal's putting down. So, yeah, right away I was thinking, okay, I have to pick these guys. Otherwise, I'm going to be contradicting myself. I'll sound like a hypocrite. Well, the more I thought about it, I've decided that I'm going to contradict myself and sound like a hypocrite here because at the end of the day, I have to look at it from the standpoint of when it comes to who's going to make the bigger impact. Well, what does this team really need the most? DJ Wagner and Karter Knox are both bucket getters, but the ultimate bucket getter on this team is going to be Nelly Davis. He's going to be the go-to guy. He's going to have the ball in his hands. I think about some areas that Arkansas could really lean on these other two. I look at Boogie Fland, for example, who's a 5-star McDonald's All-American in his own right. He's a dynamic playmaker. Him and DJ Wagner, I think, are going to have a nice little back and forth there at the point guard position. That's a good problem to have. But when I think about Boogie, I think outside of Nelly Davis, or even with him in the equation, Boogie might wind up being your best 3-point shooter on this team, especially in the backcourt when it comes to volume and percentage. This Arkansas team, one of the red flags for him, I shouldn't say red flag, but maybe a question mark, something to keep an eye on going into the year is, do they have enough 3-point shooting? And a lot of it hinges on whether or not Boogie Fland can translate from high school into the college game and really become a volume 3-point shooter for Arkansas on top of being a table setter. If he is at that point guard position and is able to knock down threes, it changes things for this offense substantially when it comes to spacing. And defenders aren't going to be able to go under ball screens and get away with it. It really, really adds a different dynamic that I don't know that you're going to be able to get with DJ Wagner at that point guard position. Now, Wagner shot under 30% from 3 last season. I think he's a better shooter than that, but I think people are still going to take their chances on going under against him as opposed to letting him drive because he's such a powerful driver. Boogie Fland, it might be a little bit different from that standpoint. They might have to respect him more from 3, and I think that could open things up and make an impact on the rest of the team in the way that they're able to flow offensively. And then Adou Thiero, he's just so versatile. He's so versatile. I think he's going to be Arkansas's best overall defender. He's a guy that can guard, really in a pinch, he could guard all 5 positions on the floor, but he certainly can guard 3 or 4 of them at a really, really high level. You could start him and play him at the power forward position, and you get a big time rebounder who can be a mismatch problem, can drive it on guys. You can play him at the 3 on the wing, and he's just going to have such a size advantage. You could post him up even if you needed to. You can just do so many different things with Thiero and he's a junior, and he's played 2 years in the SEC, 2 years in this league. Karter Knox, I'm high on him. I think he's going to be a stud, but we haven't seen it yet, and he doesn't have the experience yet. And I think that continuity that Thiero has with 2 years under Cal, just the understanding of his system and what he's looking for from him, I think it's going to be a big deal. And then in terms of overall ceiling, I mean, Thiero is a guy who hit the offseason, and all of a sudden you're seeing a dude who averaged 7 and 5 at Kentucky, which is, I mean, solid numbers, don't get me wrong, but why is this guy popping up in first round mock draft projections for 2025? And the answer is because he's got so much untapped potential and upside. He's a jumbo wing with guard skills, who's just got a chiseled frame, and he's coming along offensively. If it clicks for him, if he's able to knock down the 3-pointer more consistently, and it's crazy that, and his numbers are okay, and he's like a 32% career shooter from 3, but he's only made like 10 or 12 over the course of 2 seasons. But you look, when you watch him shoot it and you go, man, there's something there. I feel like he's got something there. If he really adds that to his arsenal, it takes his game to an entirely new level. So yes, to anyone who's been listening to me since Cal got the job and started recruiting these teams, you know that I'm a big DJ Wagner guy and I'm a big Karter Knox guy. So you probably thought, oh yeah, Curtis is going to go with these 2 for sure. Got to talk out of both sides of my mouth here, because like I said, the more and more I thought about it and I think about what the team needs and how these guys could fit in and really impact the success of the team, I lean towards Boogie Fland and Adou Thiero. I think all 4 of them are going to be key pieces to the rotation, but I had to answer your question. So there you go. I hope I did a good job of that. But it's a great, great question. I love that, these debates. At first I was thinking, well, what happens if they played 2-on-2? You know, how would that go? And I actually, at first I was kind of the same way. I was like, well, you got 2 really good offensive creators in DJ Wagner and Karter Knox, so maybe them. But then I thought about it and I said, well, the best shooter of the 4 is Boogie Fland, and the best defender of the 4 is Adou Thiero, and they're on the same team. So actually, I'd probably go with them. So there you go. There you have it. Appreciate the question, Cole. That was a good one. That was a lot of fun. Keep those questions like that coming. That's thought-provoking. It's a lot of fun to handle those. But again, if you have any questions at all that are Arkansas basketball related, it could be stuff like this, comparing 2 players to others. It could be coaching staff related, stat related, recruiting, scheduling, doesn't matter. Throw it out there. Hit me up. I've got a pinned thread on my Twitter. It's at @KurtWilkerson_, where a ton of questions come in every day. You can jump in the YouTube comments and ask questions. I go surfing around and finding those, and I put them all on a Google Doc to make sure I get to them all. And we're trying to post one every single day leading up to the college basketball season, because everybody's excited about it. But it's been a lot of fun. The engagement, the interest in this has been cool, and I appreciate it. And going to be back for more. So it's been Curtis Wilkerson with the Pod at the Palace. Make sure you get subscribed to our YouTube channel at Inside Arkansas, and we'll see you about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Everybody have a good one.